we've been Virginia Black Restaurant Experience since our existence. But it's time now to take it statewide. When we look at all of the hospitality brands, whether that's restaurants, food trucks, caterers, chefs, and even the sauces that you use on your food daily, you think about their legacy, their lineage, how that stuff started. We could take that back to 1619 off of the coast of Hampton, Virginia, when some of the first Africans landed here. And then we think about how they moved into these houses all across the state of Virginia, and they were the chefs, they were the caterers, they were the cooks. So to me, when I think about Virginia Black Restaurant Experience, I think about the ancestors. I think about who came before us. I think about the fact that we've never been able to celebrate us being the birthplace. And when you think about food, the way it fills your soul, Virginia Black Restaurant Experience is the heart and soul of why we do what we do. It's going to look different, but not. When we think about how we launched right here in Richmond because that's where our base was. And we launched here because we didn't see what we wanted to see, especially from a city that was winning awards on food, on beverages, on tourism, but we didn't see ourselves here, right? So we started with Richmond. But as we expand and look at the rebirth, we got to look down at Hampton. We got to look at Charlottesville. We got to look in Fredericksburg, Roanoke, Northern Virginia. There's just so many different areas to capture. We think about the late, the great Edna Lewis and her impact on the culinary world. We can say their names. So we got to make sure that we are giving the support, giving the resources. We did it right in Richmond. Now, how do we go to our sister and brother cities and do the same thing? Some of them are already doing that, and we're not going to step on any toes, but we are going to say, okay, from a bigger state or a bigger regional impact, how do we talk to our politicians? How do we talk to these financial institutions? How do we make the brand stronger from a statewide? So I think for us, really, really saying Virginia first instead of Richmond first, Virginia first will allow us to expand to all these other regions in a way that it puts almost the validation of, oh, okay, the Cap City got it right. Let's get it right in these other areas as well. They're seen. They're known about. They are an option. We for so long have not made lists, or we weren't when you thought about going out to eat because you had disposable income. You weren't thinking of the black restaurants first. Now you are. Now they're becoming conglomerates. Now they are becoming household names. Now you're seeing those commercials on not only a digital platform, but on the public media platform, and they're just an option to go to. They are being James Beard nominated. They are, I mean, again, these are things that without the brand recognition that Virginia Black Restaurant Experience has provided over the last almost 9 years, I don't know if we'd be on some of these lists. I don't know if something like the family reunion at the Salamander Resort, which is owned by a black woman, and the impact that she's making in that area, I don't know if that would be happening and we travel to taste these different black experiences if it wasn't for the rebirth and the re-energy that's being put into the black culinary and hospitality industry in general. People are traveling to the state of Virginia. Yes, they want the history, but they're also finding out, oh wait, there's more. There's more to explore once we get there. It means community. It means trust. It means a network of people that I know may have um, the struggles that I have. As a brick and mortar owner, um, you know, there's one thing to tell me, what I might be going through, but to literally sit by another owner and shake my head and say, yeah, yeah, and then figure out ways for us to partner. Figure out ways for us to have more strength in numbers. I think that that is what this type of organization gives. Not only does it reach more of an audience, as in growing from this amount of restaurants to this amount of restaurants, but we are continuously employing people. Oh, wait, you've been through the Virginia Black Restaurant Network? It's almost a validation of like, we know that we're going to have our struggles and our challenges, but we have the support, we have the opportunity, we have the resources to help you fix it and get through those challenges. I don't know if we would be in this situation where we can honestly say we didn't lose a lot of our partners and owners during the pandemic. If anything, we grew. I think that we have figured out the marketing and the branding piece. And now it's time for the legacy piece. It's time for the give back. It's time to look at when we think about the true reformers, when we think about Maggie, when we think about Sarah, when we think about Henrietta, when we think about all the shoulders that we stand on right now, the common factor is that they didn't have support, they didn't have foundation, they didn't have the structure that they needed from whether that was, the man or whoever you want to say, to give them that push. And I think that by starting a foundation, it allows us to leave a legacy, it allows us to leave a mark, and it allows us to tell our stories in front of these big corps that are like, oh, wow, that's still a need. Yeah, it is. It just gets me excited. 64 and 95. I mean, I rip and ran both of those. I mean, them streets, we ran up and down. Being a Virginia girl through and through, when I know that 64 gets me to Richmond from Tidewater. I know that 95 gets me all up and down that corridor and leads me to, the northern states. You cannot not travel on 64 and 95 if you come to the state of Virginia. And I think that as we create this foundation of storytelling, of travel, of experiences, the name fits because we're going to be able to travel up and down those corridors safely without a green book in order to find these places that are very much black, very much culture, and very much those things that we hope that our focus is able to see as well. The focus for 6495 Foundation is on teens because that is the future. That is our legacy. They need to see and experience things outside of a mile radius. Some of them only get to go to school. And that's no fault of theirs. It's at all. They may not have the resources when it comes to family structure, or their family may have never left. They just have not been able to say, wow, I can go to the mountains. Wow, I can go to the beach. And wow, I can touch everything in between. And that might not just be through food, and it might not just be through blackness. Just to be able to say, wow, I have a voice. Wow, I can go experience this and then bring it back to your hood and then spread, say, y'all, we can go so much further than these walls that have been put up to kind of limit us to our experiences. And I think that teens are ready. Teens are ready to see something different, and then how that contributes to how their development is. Like, I'm thinking back of when I was 13, and even when I was 19. I was different when I was 13. I was different than I was 19. I was different than I was 21, 25. And all of that evolution, I can say, okay, but this program, this experience, this person that introduced me to that helped shaped me where I am now. You have no choice but to deal with us at all. And I think that's been intentional for the last 15 years. When you think about all of the businesses that, or experiences, or festivals that have been created over these last 15 years, women in general are at the forefront of it. Again, leaning back on the ancestors. When you think about the women of Virginia, there is just, we are the past, we are the present, and we are the now. And I think that that just continues to grow. I do not know if women will always have a place in the forward thinking or the future of Virginia. Say our names when you were at these tables. When you are looking for your first option, look at a brand that is supported by Virginia Black Restaurant Experience. When you are looking to reach a certain age group with an experience, look to call 6495 Foundation. I think that we need awareness. We need for people to make us an option, like the first option. And we always need finance and funding and support. Yes, we can go and have these cultural experiences. Yes, we can go and promote these culinary hospitality brands, but we do need those allies, those people that you weren't you were at the table and the people around the table were never expecting to hear us come out of your mouth. We need people to say our names and say our names not only out of their mouths, but say it when they write those checks too.